The Eldar, one of, if not the, oldest of all races in the galaxy. This prideful Xenos race once ruled the galaxy, but is now a shadow of its former self. In an event known as the Fall of the Eldar, the Chaos God Slaanesh was born, destroying many of the Eldar gods and a large portion of the Eldar population along with it. Only a handful survived and are able to be played in Warhammer 40,000. The Craftworld Eldar, who seek to restore their dying race to greatness. The Dark Eldar, dwelling in the twilight city of Commorragh deep within the Webway, safe from Slaanesh's predations. And the Harlequins, who we will be talking about in today's video. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and welcome to 40k Stories. The Harlequins are lightning-fast warrior acrobats. These enigmatic beings do not differentiate between art and war, applying their inhuman grace to both with no distinction between the two. Sinister and mysterious, they wage a never-ending guerrilla war against the servants of the ruinous powers in the name of Chegarath, the Eldar laughing god. The Harlequins are nomads. They have no home worlds, and they travel, treading the secret paths of the labyrinthine realm known only as the Webway. Since the fall of the Eldar, they have raged against the ruinous powers and waged their clandestine war against Slaanesh, known to the Eldar as She Who Thirsts. Who can know what horrors they have averted in their constant vigilance? These figures strike suddenly, killing with such speed and skill that they are often gone before any of their foes knowing they were there. The populations of systems, species, have been spared the horrors of demonic incursion without even knowing that it was coming for them. Alongside their dealing of death to demonic servants, the Harlequins have another duty. They travel between the Craft Worlds, Exodite Worlds, and Commorragh, the various homes of the remainder of the Eldar race. They perform the dances and plays of the Eldar mythic cycle, viewed with superstitious awe. These performances remind the Eldar of the gods they once had before Slaanesh came and consumed them, and of the fall of their race, ensuring that their people remain united in some way, retaining a semblance of unity. Indeed, when war has come for the Eldar and the day is dark enough, the Harlequins act as mediators, brokering temporary alliances between the Craftworld and Dark Eldar. This is why, for those who don't know, in both the Old Eldar and Dark Eldar Codex, you could take Harlequins. Now they have their own book and a proper story to tell, so let's tell it. The Harlequins, like all Eldar races that we see today, find their origins in the fall of the Eldar, which was millennia ago. The ancient Eldar fell into shadow, and yet still their memories burn bright. They shone like the stars in the sky, illuminating the endless void. Theirs was the power to create and destroy, for they held the secrets of the universe in their hands. Yet with power unchecked comes monstrous pride. It is said that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The cessation of toil raised the spectre of ennui, alongside the endless freedom to explore the slightest of whims. Curiosity became obsession, then excess and decadence, until eventually a rot took root in the soul of the Eldar race. In their arrogance, the ancient Eldar abandoned their gods, Cain, Isha, Vol, and more, turning their backs upon the morals and codes guiding their civilization. Divested of their ancient pantheon, many Eldar declared themselves as divine. Pleasure cults spread through the Eldar realms, each more twisted and perverse than the one that came before it. Against the lurid glare of now, the glories of old were spat upon as pale, unworthy things for these Eldar. In the face of this wanton madness, the old gods could do nothing. Cain, the bloody-handed god, raged. Vol, the smith, turned his back, and Isha wept oceans of tears. Even Asayan, lord of the gods and creator, looked on, powerless. The only god who seemed to not care was Chegarath. He merely laughed. This plunge into depravity would prove the downfall for the ancient Eldar. Their race had become so twisted, lost to hedonism, corruption, that a new god was birthed in the warp in their image. This was Slaanesh, the Dark Prince, or as the Eldar would have them known, She Who Thirsts. And she would be the doom of the Breakers, the race who had made her. 3 fragments escaped before this cataclysm. The first were the Exodites. Despite the mockery of their perverted kin, they eschewed the trappings of power that might save them, turning back to their old gods. Next went those who would become the Dark Eldar. They were unrepentant, yet wary of their actions. They had committed their darkest of excesses in the labyrinth dimension known as the Webway, and thus they were protected when Slaanesh was born. The last to escape were the Craftworld Eldar. Fashioning great interstellar arcs to bear them to safety, they fled to the void and into denial of all that they had become. At the instant of birth, Slaanesh opened wide her maw, rending reality itself. She vented a scream of unimaginable power. All but a fraction of the ancient Eldar were killed, their souls blasted clean from their bodies and greedily devoured by Slaanesh. As the Eldar fell, so too did their gods, consumed by She Who Thirsts. One can only assume that the Eldar souls collected by Slaanesh gave her enough power to destroy even Cain and Assyria. All Eldar know this tale, but not all know of the Harlequins. When the Eldar fled their doom, they took with them the seeds of Chegarak's vengeance, because Chegarak survived. These individuals, the worshippers of the Laughing God, would find bloody purpose in the years to come. They became the Harlequins. The Harlequins worshipped Chegarak, the Laughing God of the Eldar, also known as the First Fool or the Great Harlequin. Chegarak is a trickster, by turns mocking, sinister, vindictive, and enigmatic all at once. His pranks and jokes punish both gods and mortals for overweening pride, and stories such as the theft of Cain's blade and the wedding of Screams remain cautionary fables in Eldar culture to this day. This is a god that you do not trifle with. Alone amongst the Eldar gods, Chegarak is believed to have survived the fall of the Eldar and escaped the fate of the rest of the Eldar pantheon. The story goes that while Slaanesh fought with Calem and Chicane, the Laughing God legged it into the Webway, hiding amongst its myriad tunnels. These tales suggest that he is still there, unassailable, laughing at the Chaos Gods as he hatches his plans for revenge. There are those who claim that Chegarak walks amongst his children, from time to time, at least, wearing the disguise of an anonymous Harlequin player, a regular troop member. Whatever the truth of this, the Laughing God is the only authority that the Harlequins recognize as they fight their wars and perform their mythic dances across the void in his name. The Harlequins are unbelievably swift and impossibly agile, flowing through battle like silk streamers in a hurricane. As they close, their players are in constant motion, a riot of colour dazzling the senses of their enemies. The oncoming Quins sprint, leap and weave, blades and blasts of their terrified enemy whistling around them to little effect. Harlequins, rather like Chegarak, do not rely on brute strength and resilience. They rely on speed and skill. Their hollow suits shatter their outline into a fractal polychromatic blur, causing each Harlequin to appear as an insubstantial storm of psychedelic colour into which the panicked foe can pour its fire pointlessly. At the moment of impact, however, the Harlequins prove themselves to be all too real. The thunder of gunfire is their backbeat, the screams of the dying their accompaniment as they whirl through the enemy ranks like a dance. Every step of the battle is an artistic dance, each victim as much an unwilling partner as a mortal foe. Blade thrusts come lightning fast, sparks and blood raining down as their victims try desperately to block the offensive. All the while, the enemy wrestles with its worst fears reflected back at them in the ever-shifting masks of the Harlequins. A single Harlequin in battle is like a player upon a stage, but an entire army is a performing company with a bloody tale to tell. They are known as masks, and these warbands fight with breathtaking synchronicity. Troops of Harlequins sprint across the battlefield, surging from hidden webway portals to strike without warning. Skyweaver jetbike crews engage in aerobatic ballet, streaking above the heads of their enemies to hurl spinning starbolas. Explosions blossom, their roar a deafening crescendo, accompanied by the howl of transports and gunships opening fire. Amidst the mayhem, the mask's elites choreograph the carnage. Each troopmaster directs its players with the skill of the most brilliant conductor and the strategic genius of even the most seasoned generals. Death jesters send volleys of fire to cut down key targets, always with an eye for the cruel humour they can find in their kill. The enigmatic shadow seers use their phantasmic powers to terrify and misdirect, drowning the enemy in nightmarish visions. And should a dreaded Solitaire, decide to join a fight, they can slaughter enemy regiments in impossible displays of martial prowess. It is just something that must be seen to be believed, and yet you'll never see it coming. To the untrained eye, the onset of a Harlequin mask is a riotous confusion of sound, colour, and violence. Yet to the refined Eldar senses, the clearest of patterns are revealed. Every moment is orchestrated. Every player knows implicitly how and when his comrades will strike. This is war made art and art made war, battle fought with perfect rhythm and meaning, as lethal as it is spectacular. Like all Eldar, the Harlequins travel via the webway, created by the ancient race known as the Old Ones as a means of intragalactic travel. Via the webway, the armies of these beings could appear from just about anywhere, striking without warning. And furthermore, it allowed the Old Ones to voyage between the worlds of their empire without risking the warp, because as we all know, the warp is far too dangerous. Known by some as the Labyrinth Dimension, the webway has been envisioned by mortal minds in a number of ways. Some see it as a galactic tapestry of shimmering strands, others a maze of tunnels or the veins of some living, vast entity. All such accounts fall short of the truth, for the webway is defiant of any categorization. It is an elegantly crafted realm between real space and the warp, analogous to the surface of a still, dark pool or a fine silk veil drawn over something foul. The webway once covered the entire galaxy, even stretching into the empty void beyond it. Those days, well, they're gone. Ravaged by catastrophe and war, many tunnels have been torn open or amputated entirely, and a great number of entrances have been sealed by the Eldar themselves as a desperate measure to deny their foes access. However, the Eldar still rely upon the webway for swift travel, none more so than the Harlequins. It is said that Chegarak, the laughing god, is the only being in existence who knows every path through the webway. This may explain how his disciples know so well its twists and turns, having an intimate knowledge of them. The Harlequins walk the webway without fear, appearing and disappearing at will. They are so well versed that many other Eldar have credited the servants of the laughing god with supernatural powers. It is the Harlequins who watch over the Black Library alongside its dark guardians, though they are unknown. This is their other sacred duty, and they use its secrets to gain the upper hand in the war against chaos. The Black Library is said to contain every piece of knowledge known in the galaxy, in the universe perhaps, and only the Eldar know where it is, not even all of them. In this way, whole masks of Harlequins can use the webway's hidden paths to strike from unexpected quarters and ambush, guaranteeing the element of surprise. Of course, it's not a perfect system. The webway is dangerous and broken. Still, this is not much help to any general who suddenly finds out his armies have been overrun from within, taken out by a host of Harlequins before he even knew the battle had begun. That is what makes the Harlequins such a deadly foe. The Black Library. Guarded by the Harlequins and terrifying sentinels, it lies deep within the webway. To reach this realm, one must court madness itself, traveling secret passages through the webway, evading the gaze of the horrifying entities that stand guard over it, and unlocking one of the most cunningly hidden entrances amid veils of riddle and illusion. This is why it is so hard to find. The Black Library houses all of the Eldar's most precious knowledge, and it is said that it resembles a vast, impossible craft world existing only within the labyrinth dimension. There is lore here regarding every deadly galactic mystery the Eldar have ever encountered, and considering they've been around at least as long as the Necrons, that being 60 million years, that is a lot. The true nature of the ancient star gods, the fate of the forsaken Phoenix Lord Ara, even the origins of chaos itself, are but the merest fragments of the Black Library's archives of the forbidden and forgotten. In particular, the collection focuses upon all that the Eldar know of chaos. After all, it was chaos that destroyed their civilization and threatens them still from the warp. Within the psychically locked rooms of the seething spiral lie grimoires of dark magic, whispers and snarls shivering the air despite the layers of runic wards upon them. Beneath the dome of stars extinguished, countless caskets of moonthorn imprison demonic artifacts and essences. Glowing lights drift through chambers in which ancient blades and alien skulls rest upon rune-carved plinths. Perhaps most valuable of all is the collected psychic lore of the Eldar and the countless species they have encountered. Captured in the crystalline thoughts of the library's long-dead inhabitants, these spectral secrets drift on the wind like half-remembered thoughts, waiting for a mind strong enough to snare them. It is unknown whether such a mind truly exists. On and on the corridors wind, a maze of starlit chambers and shadow-drowned oubliettes beyond count. Few mortals have seen the inside of this realm, and none would be foolish enough to speak of it. Once someone has witnessed the true nature of the sentinels of the Black Library, unknown as they are, the fear of their vengeance lingers eternally. The Harlequins guard this place alongside these terrifying sentinels. We do not know where, how, or why they are needed, but they are there. And it is this knowledge that allows them to fight so well against chaos. Let us speak now of the members of Harlequin troops and some of the more specialist units that we have encountered. The troop masters are the leaders of various Harlequin squads, known as troops, and they are choreographers of war, directing their comrades' reactions to the changing fates of battle, ensuring the Harlequins' performance is as perfect as it can be. By consent of their peers, they become focal points for successes and failures of entire troops of Harlequins. In many conflicts, the most talented will even be entrusted with directing the performance of their entire mask, hence why they can be chosen as a warlord. Troop masters are closer to the lead actor in a film, or the lead player of a cast, rather than a formal commander. They are elevated by the will of their brothers and sisters playing their role until it is time for another to stand in their stead. Troopmasters act as exemplars for all of their troops' key characteristics, everything it means to be light, dark, or twilight, writ large, embodied by their master. Thus, troopmasters of the light will hurl themselves into battle like headstrong heroes of ancient myth, adopting aggressive protagonist roles, such as the Duke of the Hidden Realm or the Eldenari Prince. Troopmasters of the dark, by comparison, are sinister and vindictive, always seeking a flamboyant way to finish off their foe. Troopmasters of the twilight, however, see cycles of transition in everything, often seen as obsessive or insane in their attention to detail, until precisely the moment that their true genius reveals itself. The troops of the light, twilight, and dark are very unexplained here. It is suggested maybe that they embody different aspects of the Eldar race, and perhaps it is these troops and these styles that appeal to different types of Eldar. The light troops with the craft worlds, the dark troops with the dark, and the twilight perhaps with the all-knowing Exodites. It's impossible to say, for it is not explained here. The Shadow Seer is a psyker, using manipulation of the mind as his foremost weapon. In battle, they turn their victims' senses against them, blinding, driving men mad, or gouging fatal psychosomatic wounds. At the same time, they shield their allies, wreathing them in veils of illusion until the moment to strike is nigh. Enigmatic masters of trickery and misdirection, for they wear a faceless mask. The Shadow Seer's prodigious psychic abilities are a powerful tool in the ongoing war on chaos. In the Harlequins' performance, the Shadow Seers play the role of fate when they perform for the Eldar. They act as narrators, speaking in monologue, song or rhyme, while fellow players whirl and spin around them. The Shadow Seer's subtle psychic abilities, coupled with the hallucinogenic Kradan grenade launchers that they wear on their backs, that provide diverse illusions for their shows. Blasts of multicolored light, glowing swirls of blinding mist, and white-hot illusory flame, all conjured forth with consummate showmanship. Shadow Seers are skilled in reading the skeins of the future. However, their second sight is different to that of the Eldar Farseers. They are concerned less with the literal manipulation of events, but rather fulfillment of the roles that others unknowingly assume. Concealing their identities with stage names, they act as envoys to the Craftworld or Comorite kin, faceless masks revealing nothing of their thoughts or intentions. The Death Jester, the long-ranged sniper. The arrival of a Death Jester is announced by a hissing storm of fire. Enemy infantry are torn apart as they combust from within. Such an entrance is apt indeed, for the sinister Death Jesters play the role of death in the performances of the Harlequins, hence the skull mask and black attire. Without exception, they possess a dark, grisly sense of humor, leading them to seek new and inventive ways to terrorize, torment, and eventually kill their victims. They can sometimes be heard chuckling or humming softly to themselves mid-fight, and will occasionally pause to sketch a deep bow or offer mocking applause to foes whose horrible fates have especially entertained them. Killing the foe for a Death Jester is not enough. To make war worthwhile, they must intersperse death with ironic humor. Slaying an officer at the crescendo of a rallying speech, panicking sappers so that they flee into their own minefield, or wounding a heavy weapons trooper so their shot flies wide and destroys the objective they were defending. These are the deeds in which Death Jesters find their amusement. Indeed, there are few in the galaxy as talented or imaginative when it comes to writing the tragic comedy of war. Amid the masks, Death Jesters move as they will, garbed in armor said to incorporate the bones of their predecessors. That's dark. They are regarded with wary amusement by their fellows, for they are as morbid and unpredictable as they are gifted. Yet their dedication to Chekarak is beyond question, and in the heat of battle, the covering fire of Death Jesters has saved lives of their comrades time and time and time again. Finally, we come to the Solitaire. The Solitaire is an incredible warrior, able to move faster than the naked eye can follow. He could run across the screen right now, and you would not even know he'd done it. Their impossible acrobatics are such that no blade can strike them. No bolt or blast find its mark upon their flesh. In battle they are lethal, scything kicks and hammer blow punches coming so fast that most foes are dead before they even realize the fight had begun. Indeed, each individual Solitaire is the equal of a host of lesser warriors. Solitaires are the strangest of all Harlequins. They conceal themselves amidst the craft worlds or Comorite society, hiding their true nature as they wander from place to place. Only occasionally will they reveal the monster lurking beneath that facade, joining a mask for a performance or battle before drifting on once more. At such times they speak, and are only spoken to in ritual form, and are feared by most Eldar as an ill omen. This mien of horror stems from the fact that alone amongst the Harlequins, the Solitaire plays the role of Slaanesh. As a result, the Solitaire's role commands ultimate fear and ultimate respect. It also makes him the most dangerous of all Harlequins, for a Solitaire treads the path of damnation. His essence is doomed to be devoured by she who thirsts. No spirit stone, no sacrificing others in their stead. Slaanesh will devour every Solitaire. Knowledge that their soul is forfeit means a Solitaire will ensure the cost to their foe is dear indeed before their end comes. Despite their dark fate, it is said that Solitaires are touched by the Laughing God, that they have his insight into the fall and even the nature of the universe itself. Many Eldar believe that speaking to a Solitaire is to invite a grisly demise, and should an individual accidentally address or touch one of these lonely beings, they would be better to take their own lives right there and then than let fate come for them. And they are the main players beyond the standard within the Harlequin troop. Let us get to them now, their final act. In recent years, the Harlequins' war on chaos has been characterized by a newfound urgency. Full masks have become ever more common among the stars. Appearing from the webway, they can be found performing within the realms of their kin, or battling the galaxy's disparate races in vicious campaigns of seemingly random violence. As the 41st millennium comes to its end, more and more Eldar vanish into the webway, forsaking their lives as they were to take up the mask of the Harlequin. The Harlequins' numbers are growing, and many Eldar wonder why. The truth is inspirational and terrifying. At the very heart of the Black Library lies a silver-lit vault. Therein stands a plinth of finely graven obstinite, upon which rests a crystalline book, said to contain the words of Chegarak. Since the fall of the Eldar, all those millennia ago, the tome's covers have remained closed, sealed shut with flickering chains of light. Yet now, long-awaited portents have come to pass. A fallen sorcerer seeks the lore of the library. A king stirs in his court of death and silence, preparing to rise once more. Within madness's eye, the champion of the ruinous powers prepares to seize a realm long denied. As the signs have come to pass, so the bands of light have flickered and died about the tome. Now at last it has fallen open. Within its pages, the Shadowseers have found a script, a secret final act that changes completely the tale of the fall. Penned in inks of light and shadow, these words present hope, slender though it is, detailing an intricate, galaxy-spanning performance with the potential to change the fate of the Eldar race. Always the strands of fate have pointed towards the victory of chaos during the last battle, known to the Eldar as the Rada Dandra. Yet within the pages of this tome is recorded Chegarak's ultimate trick, a way to trick Slaanesh into expending all her power, not to destroy the Eldar, but to save them. How such an impossibility could come to pass is unclear, for on that matter the final act is infuriatingly vague. Yet the Harlequins take their god's word on faith alone, for their devotion to Chegarak is total and his methods beyond question or reproach. Thus they have begun the steps of this final dance, and will see it completed, or else face absolute destruction in the attempt. And that is the story of the Harlequins. It is frustrating that we are missing so much key detail of their actions between the fall and now, and I really wish that this had a little bit more to it. But we can see that there are things happening in the 40k universe that reflect why the Harlequins are doing what they're doing. Look at that paragraph where I talked about a fallen sorcerer, a stirring king, and a rising champion. Azek Ahriman is known to be seeking the Black Library. The Silent King is back in his court of death and silence, for the Necrons cannot speak and are all technically dead. Within Madness's eye, the Eye of Terror, the champion Abaddon the Despoiler of the ruinous powers, prepares to seek the long-denied realm of the Imperium of Man. This shows that the Harlequins knew this was coming. The Eldar knew it was coming. They didn't really know, but they now know. And at last, they can save their race. Trick Slaanesh into saving the Eldar rather than wiping them out. And this tale, while it may never happen, it may never be told, will be an epic one to follow. Personally, I really like the Harlequins. Their story has always been a little bit weird and a little bit unique, but now that they have their own codex, I've been really glad to get in and have a look at it for myself. And that is the end of today's video. As I say, I do apologize about the lack of actual stories, but I hope that gave you some good background information on the Harlequins, who they are, what they do, and hopefully a bit of insight into why. If you want to see more 40k stories, feel free to leave a like and let me know in the comments below what stories you would like me to tell. For now though, that's all. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, And until the next time, I'll see you all again. Bye for now.